U.S. warplanes strike Iran-backed militia in Iraq, Syria. Washington, June 27. Reuters. The United States said on Sunday it carried out another round of airstrikes against Iran-backed militia in Iraq and Syria, this time in response to drone attacks by the militia against U.S. personnel and facilities in Iraq. In a statement, the U.S. military said it targeted operational and weapons storage facilities at 2 locations in Syria and 1 location in Iraq. It did not disclose whether it believed anyone was killed or injured, but officials said assessments were ongoing. Iraq militia groups aligned with Iran in a statement named 4 members of the Kataib Saeed al-Shahada faction they said were killed in the attack on the Syria-Iraq border. They vowed to retaliate. The strikes came at the direction of President Joe Biden, the second time he has ordered retaliatory strikes against Iran-backed militia since taking office 5 months ago. Biden last ordered limited strikes in Syria in February, that time in response to rocket attacks in Iraq. As demonstrated by the evening's strikes, President Biden has been clear that he will act to protect U.S. personnel. The Pentagon said in a statement, the strikes came even as Biden's administration is looking to potentially revive a 2015 nuclear deal with Iran. The decision to retaliate appears to show how Biden aims to compartmentalize such defense strikes while simultaneously engaging Tehran in diplomacy. Biden's critics say Iran cannot be trusted and point to the drone attacks as further evidence that Iran and its proxies will never accept a U.S. military presence in Iraq or Syria. Iran called on the United States to avoid creating crisis in the region. Certainly, what the United States is doing is disrupting security in the region. One of the victims of the disruption will be the United States. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Saeed Khatibzadeh said on Monday, an apparent indication that Baghdad is determined to avoid getting sucked into the U.S.-Iran escalation. Iraq's military issued a rare recommendation of the U.S. strikes. The Iraq and U.S. militaries continue close coordination in a separate battle in Iraq, fighting remnants of the Sunni extremist group Islamic State. Biden and the White House declined comment on the strikes on Sunday, but Biden will meet Israel's outgoing president, Reuven Rivlin, at the White House on Monday for a broad discussion that will include Iran and U.S. efforts to re-enter the Iran nuclear deal. Those efforts have raised serious concerns in Israel, Iran's arch foe. U.S. officials believe Iran is behind a ramp-up in increasingly sophisticated drone attacks and periodic rocket fire against U.S. personnel and facilities in Iran, where the U.S. military has been helping Baghdad combat the remnants of the Islamic State. 2 U.S. officials speaking to Reuters on the condition of the anonymity said Iran-backed militias carried out at least 5 drone attacks against facilities used by the U.S. and coalition personnel in Iraq since April. The Pentagon said the facilities targeted were used by Iran-backed militia, including Kataib Hezbollah and Kataib Saeed al-Shahada. One of the facilities targeted was used to launch and recover the drones, a defense official said. The U.S. military carried out strikes with F-15 and F-16 aircraft, officials said, adding the pilots made to back from the tent mission safely. We assess each strike hit the intended targets, one of the officials told Reuters. Iraq's government is struggling to deal with the militias ideologically aligned with Iran, which are accused of rocket fire against U.S. forces and involvement in killing peaceful pro-democracy activists. Earlier in June, Iraq released Iran-aligned militia commander Qasim Moazeli, who was arrested in May on terrorism-related charges after authorities found insufficient evidence against him. Well, there you have it. The Democrats are trying to start wars in the Middle East. All right. And, you have Israel that is worried, but, what can I say? I mean, everybody has their hand in some dirt here. U.S. government. You got Israeli government. You got Syria. So, get ready to have a very interesting year. Okay? Things are going to pop off. And just like you can't trust the Republicans, you can't trust the Democrats. All right? Hope you enjoyed the reading. And that's it. This is my first time trying out, reading some information on world affairs. All right. Later.